Hi friends, this is Kaya Redford and welcome to KR Success Coaching N.L.P Road to Mastery program. So most of us have heard of N.L.P before, yes? We've heard about Neuro Linguistic programming. We know it's the study of human excellence. Well, I have something phenomenal that I want to share with you today. Before I get into that, let me just ask you, do you want to have even more success in your near future? Yes? Do you want to have even greater results? Do you want to make even more money? Do you want to have the quality of life and lifestyle that you really want to have? Yes? Do you consider yourself a leader? Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur? Do you consider yourself a sales professional and being able to increase your productivity, getting out of your procrastination, making more money will give you an even better life? Yes? Absolutely. Well, N.L.P Road to Mastery is all about that. What I first want to do is I want to start by taking a look at our results. My question for you is, as you're watching this, as you think of your results, your success over the last, let's say a few months, quarter, or the last year, are you satisfied with the results in the last year? Are you satisfied with your success in the last year? As you look at the amount of income that you've brought in, are you satisfied and fully fulfilled with the amount of income that you've brought in? Do you feel that you've achieved your best? Or do you feel that perhaps that there is more that you were capable of that you quite didn't hit those levels? So wherever you find yourself, some people then find themselves, I'm doing pretty good. And they know there's one or two notches higher that they could be going higher. Some people, they're doing, okay, I know that I could be doing better. And some people are reflecting back at their results and they're feeling not too excited about it. Not very motivated about it, maybe disappointed, maybe frustrated, maybe even angry, maybe even a lack of belief, a lack of certainty, maybe even a bit of fear. So wherever we find ourselves, I'm going to ask us to join with me here at the whiteboard. I'm going to draw the results that we've had in the last, say, year. Could be the last quarter, could be the last year. And what I'm going to ask us is, as you look at these results, wherever the results are, the question is, are you satisfied with these results? If you are, great. If you're not, or even if you're satisfied, but you know that you're capable of so much more, aren't you, right? The question is, what is the structure that supported these results? So my question for you is this. Have you ever seen a building where they're doing some construction and there's scaffolding around the building, scaffolding that's supporting up the person who's doing the construction up here, the scaffolding, yes? So if you think about our results being supported by that scaffolding, right? Some people, the results, they may even say the results are actually a problem because there's not enough, or there's a lack of limitation, or the productivity is not where it could be. So my question for you is, if the results are here, and if we think of what supports the results as scaffolding, what is the scaffolding, the structure that supports these results? Would you like to take a guess? What are the things about us that creates these results? So I'm going to actually just fully draw out scaffolding, and my drawing is not the best, by the way, but I'm sure you'll get the point. I'm just going to draw out the scaffolding. And then in a moment, we're going to take a guess of what are the things that go into this structure that has given us the results we have now, yes? Let's just do another layer here, and then maybe just do one more layer here. So what goes into creating that? Would you say many things? We're kind of complex beings, yes? We've got our emotions, we've got our values, what's important to us, we've got our behaviors, we've got our beliefs, we've got our actions. There's so many things, yes? Let's go with number one. Let's go with emotions. So the question is, and I would always ask someone who's having not quite the results that they want. A lot of people we train are Fortune 500 companies, Bank of America, New York Life, Century 21, Keller Williams, Remax. We work with the mayor's office doing government trainings as well. And a lot of the people that we work with are in some form of business where it requires prospecting or requires going out there and getting business. So emotions, as we think about emotions, what are some emotions that serve us and what are some emotions that hold us back? So emotions like fear. Do you know anybody who has fear? Fear of prospecting, fear of picking up the phone, fear of knocking on that door, fear of rejection, right? Fear of success, fear of failure. So there's a whole slew of fears. Fear of public speaking, they say, is even greater than fear of death, the fear of public speaking. So we have fear of prospecting, fear of picking up the phone, fear of knocking on the door, fear of rejection, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of public speaking, whatever it is. These fears are things that are part of this structure that gives us the results we have. Yes? So what else? What else other than fears is part of the blueprint that creates the results we have now? And by the way, I'm not presupposing that as you're watching this, you have these fears. Only you know. Only you know what you have within you on a daily basis as you go about your business. But for most part, we find 95% of the population that we coach and we train are in some form of, they're average producing or they're, struggling. So for most people, these fears are actually very real. So what else? We have values, right? So we've got values. Now, why are values so important? Values are so important because if you've heard about them before, values actually drive your behavior. Values is what gets you up in the morning, gets you to do what you want to do. So some people value money. They want to make money, correct? Some people value time. They want to have free time. And what I'm going to share with you is that our values drive our behavior and get our results. Sometimes people don't even have the right values. They think money is important to them, but when we elicit their values, we find out that money is number 10, number 20 on the list, and they're looking for something else. So they get those other things, but they don't quite make the money they want to make. But let me give you one other distinction. Do you know someone who wants to make more money? Absolutely. Do you know someone who also wants to have more time? Correct? Do you know anybody who wants to make more money, but it takes away from their time? Right? They want to be a top producer, they want to make more money, but it takes away from their time with their kids, or with their family or their spouse. And then when they're with their kids, their family, their spouse, they want to have time with their family, their kids, and their spouse, but they feel bad because it takes away from them being a top producer and making the money they want to make. Right? So it's almost like I want to make money, but it takes away from my time, my free time. I want to have my free time, but it takes away from me potentially becoming a top producer. A lot of mothers go through this. They want to be a good mother, but they feel like that holds them back from being a top producer. They want to be a top producer, but they feel like that holds them back from being a good mother. Mothers and fathers. So you have values like money and time, and sometimes they fight, they conflict. They pull, so the person never makes the amount of money they want to make because it takes away from their time. Never really is able to have the time that they want to have because they're not making the amount of money they want to make, so they beat themselves up. So this ends up becoming conflict. So you not only have values that drive your behavior, sometimes we find the values are conflicting. And when the person is stuck between these two things, pulled in two different directions, they stay stuck. They never make the amount of money they want to make, and they never really have the time they want to have. They're unsatisfied and usually frustrated with that process. So what else is part of the structure that creates our results? Would you say maybe beliefs? Right? Beliefs. So how many of us know people that on some level they see someone else that's a top producer, they see someone that's really successful and they say, oh, I can't be like that. I can't be like that person. Right? I spoke to someone recently who they said, art, well, Art Kaya is a 1 in a million, right? He's got this presence, he has this charisma. I can't be a salesperson like Art because Art's just that great. And I said, that's interesting. Do you think Art was born, came out of the womb with this belief system? Or do you think those belief systems are actually a learned behavior, right? It's actually a learned behavior. So some of us, you may know someone who believes on some level they're not good enough, or not smart enough, or they'll never be rich, or never be rich, or never be wealthy. So whatever those beliefs are, it puts a cap, it puts a ceiling, because we usually don't go after what we don't even believe is possible. As soon as we believe something's not possible, why even try? We're not going to get there. If you knew for a fact there's no way you were going to get to your destination, do you think it would change your behavior? Of course. You probably wouldn't even want to try. The beliefs set the standard, set the bar of when we believe we have the certainty, we go for it. When we don't believe, we procrastinate, or we hesitate, or we don't do anything. So beliefs. What else? Behaviors. Behaviors also support the result. Do you know someone that knows what they need to do, but they don't do it? They know that, for instance, sales is a numbers game. That you've got to speak to, whether it's 100 or it's 200 or 300 or whether it's 50 people a day. That if you hit those numbers and you use your script and you get as many touches as you can with people, that it's a numbers game, that you're bound to get a yes. Correct? It reminds me of the story of Babe Ruth. He used to laugh when he used to strike out. And someone came up to him and said, "That's so disrespectful. You have no respect for this sport. We know that you're a home running hitting king, but why would you laugh when you strike out? Why is this such a joke to you?" He says, "I don't laugh because I don't respect the sport. I laugh because every single miss, every single strikeout, I'm one hit closer to my next home run." So he appreciated that there is no failure. There is only moving forward and closer to my next home run. So we have people that we know that they know what they need to do, but because of fears and because of other things, they don't do it. They know what they need to do, but they don't do it. Do you know anybody who knows what they need to do and doesn't do it? Or do you know someone that says, "I'm going to be at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be at the gym, and I'm going to get my jump start on the day, and I'm going to be productive," and they do it? And do you know people that say they're going to do things, but they don't do it? They say they're going to do it. Their words say they're going to do this, but their behavior does not match their words. What we call that is a lack of alignment. And we call that incongruency. So there's some disconnect there, yes? What else? We also have actions. Do you know people who procrastinate? It's not that they're taking action, it's inaction. They're stuck. Procrastination is one of the biggest things we hear. Procrastination. So these are just some things. There's many, many other things, but there's also strategies. You may have heard of strategies, you may not have heard of strategies. In N.L.P, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, strategies are actually more neurological things that we do by habit. Our behaviors, every behavior we do follows a certain strategy, and most of the time it's automatic pilot. We're not even aware of we're doing it, we're just doing it just without even knowing it, right? It's interesting because strategies, there are people who don't like to prospect, and I ask them why don't they like to prospect, and they go, "I don't know, I just don't feel like it." And I ask them, "Why don't you feel like it?" And we discover that they're seeing faces of people that they believe don't want to talk to them. They're hearing the no's before they pick up the phone or before they knock on the door, and they're feeling like disempowered, they don't want to take action. Why? Because the strategy that they're doing, they're playing in their head, that program that they're not even aware of, that we call it the voice in the head, the naysayer, "Oh, this is going to happen, blah, 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 blah," is talking them out of the deal. So there's strategies, and when I say strategies, I mean more how we're wired, our wiring. So there's strategies. There's also meta programs. Now, some of these terms I don't expect you necessarily to know about just yet if you haven't yet studied N.L.P. But meta programs are our filters, how we filter life, how we process the world. There are people through their filters who are already missing out on golden opportunities and just seem to attract to them people that don't have the money, that are complicated, that don't close on time, and they just attract to them difficulty. And usually that means because it's something to do with their filters. Right? Also, we have language. A person's ability to master language in sales, in leadership, being able to influence another person with the right words, with the right language, with the right emotions, values, beliefs, behavior, all of it is going to create a result. Make sense? So let's just say you know someone who has the results that they're not fulfilled from, and let's just say that you know someone who's got some of the things going on that I just described here. Now, of course, if the person is doing all right, of course, not everything's not working. They've got to have some beliefs in here that work. They've got to have some values that support them. They have to have some emotions like joy, passion, excitement, happiness, enthusiasm. So there's some things in here that are working, because you wouldn't be watching this video, you wouldn't even have the success that you have if there weren't some amazing things in here, right? So some leadership skills, some sales skills, maybe you've been trained, you've got some good sales ability, some leadership ability, maybe you're good with words. So there's some stuff in here, there's emotions that are supportive, there's some stuff in here that works, right? However, what we're saying, the combination of what works and what doesn't work creates the results we have now. So if I were to ask you this question, and we're going to go over here now. If I were to ask you, if you and I could human engineer the top producer of your life, if you and I could find the model of excellence and create the model of excellence, let's say we went into a lab. If you were to say, if I were to human engineer a person to create an ideal life for myself, what would that ideal life be? So here is that. We're going to say this is an ideal life. Ideal life, ideal results too. We're going to say this means that the person is making the amount of money they want to make, right? We had one person just in December having not made $40,000 hardly for the last 19, 20 years in real estate. In the month of December, $85,000 in 1 month in commissions. So just, if you were to be bringing in whatever that is, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, well, $1 million a year, or $2 million or $5 million, whatever the number is, this meets you wherever you're at. What would that ideal life, those ideal results be? What would that ideal income be? What would those relationships be? What would that health and vitality be, and that fitness be? What would these results be if you were to go after this ideal life, right? One that you're very satisfied with, you're very fulfilled with, you're happy, you're joyful, and you're very proud of yourself. So if we take a look at that, the question is, let's just say if you know someone who is a model of excellence. Let's say they say the Michael Jordan of, right? So the Michael Jordan of real estate, the Michael Jordan of financial services, the Michael Jordan of multi-level marketing, the Michael Jordan of whatever it is, right? Let's say you were to interview the Michael Jordan of your industry. We had the honor and privilege recently of working with and training a lady who's a very dear friend of mine as well, Marty Rodriguez. One could say Michael Jordan of real estate. For certainly Century 21, a big brand. And for a brand that's, 30 some years old, she's been the #1 producer in that brand for over 30 years, every year, systematically. I think making no less than 2.5 million net in commissions in her own individual income per year on her own sole production. Those are some pretty big numbers for someone that doesn't play in the NBA to be doing real estate. This is some big numbers. So let's just say whatever that is, whatever your goal is. Maybe your goal is, I don't need to be that, but I want to break the 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000 mark, or whatever it is. So whatever these ideal results is, if we were to interview and find out what the structure, remember we're talking about scaffolding, that holds up and supports this goal. If we were to analyze that person's scaffolding, and we were to find out what their structure is, what is their emotions that they visit on a daily, day-to-day basis? What emotions? Do they have fears, or are they more fearless? Is it joy? Is it passion? Is it hunger? I know in my conversation with Marty, she said to me, she said, I pursue my goals like I have blinders on, like I'm a racehorse with blinders on. I go, go, go. So what are the emotions of this person that has this amazing set of results, right? What are the values? What drives them? Okay? What are their beliefs about themselves, about their potential in the business, about life? What are their behaviors? When they say they're going to do something, do they do it all the time, every time? Do they keep their word? When they say they're going to, knock on 300 doors or make 300 phone calls, do they do it? Or do they stop at the first 5 when they get a few no's? What are their actions? What is their strategies? What is their hardwiring? What are their meta programs? Again, maybe some of these words you're not familiar with. Meta programs, most people don't even know what that is unless they've learned NLP. Meta programs is how we process the world, how we think, what we filter out of our experience. And it really tells you why we attract what we attract, the best clients, people that close on time, people that have the money, and why we attract sometimes difficult people that we don't want to work with, right? Then with the language. What about the language? What's this person's language like? What's their sales skills like? What is their leadership skills like? So you're starting to see that this structure that supports this ideal goal and ideal life is very different. This is a top producer, or this is the Michael Jordan of whatever it is in your industry. And this is the person who, God bless them, but they're probably struggling. They probably do not have the quality of life that they want. They're probably not fulfilled. They're probably frustrated and angry. And God bless them again. They just want to figure out what's missing, what they can do. So what I present to you is you have 2 different maps of the world, or we call it N.L.P, models of the world. And what we do in our N.L.P Road to Mastery program is we literally take a look at what your blueprint is. We literally take you through a very detailed analysis interview to find out what your emotions, your values, your beliefs, your behaviors, your actions, a detailed personal history to see how you got this blueprint the way it is. Downloaded from mom, downloaded from dad, or downloaded from a lack of a mother, or a lack of a father, or a lack of a role model, whatever the case may be. We find out what this is, and the first thing we do is we ask what's working, what serves here. When we find out what serves here, guess what? We keep it. We find out what doesn't work here. What doesn't work, the negative emotions like fear. We do a process in our NLP Road to Mastery program to get rid of all the negative emotions, the anger, the sadness, the fear, the hurt, the guilt, the shame, the resentment, the jealousy, the irritation, the rage, whatever those emotions are that really don't serve us when we want to become a top producer. We also find what the values are. We find out what the person's values are, and the values that are good, we keep, and the values that don't serve, we get rid of. We look and compare the values of this top producer, Michael Jordan of, and the values of this person. We start to see the contrast and the difference between the two. The values that are similar, we keep. The values that are not, we switch them up. There's a lot of people also, I forgot to mention, regarding values. They value, they focus, and they put attention on the problem. So their focus is on the wrong thing. They could be valuing money, but they're valuing the fact that, and paying attention that there's not enough money. So their focus is away from what they want. They're focused on what they don't want instead of focusing on what they want. So they hold money and they hold success in a negative state because it's a reminder that they don't have the money, they don't have the success. So when they hear the word money, they hear the word success, it actually is a depressing feeling because their focus is on that they don't have it instead of that they could have it. So there's a lot that we do with this. So we're getting all that away from energy gone, and we're helping their values shift towards their goals. So it's empowered, right? So the same thing with beliefs. We contrast the beliefs between here and here, the behaviors. So once we see what's worked, we keep it. And once we see what doesn't work, we start to remove the blueprint that doesn't work, and we do a process in our 26-step breakthrough. So it is a 26-step breakthrough process. And what we do is literally, systematically, we strip down this to the bolts and the different pieces, and we create the ideal blueprint for success, modeling what the model of excellence does. Now, this is an extremely powerful process. We've had tremendous success of people that have been struggling, who automatically, very quickly shifted their mindset, their language, their behavior, and they became top producers. Like I just mentioned, one of our recent students who struggled for 19 years to make $40,000 a year, which, I mean, I would say that's kind of low, right? And now has become a top producer. He doubled his income. He doubled his income again, and then he doubled his income a third time, and just recently, had an $85,000 month in just 1 month, which is pretty good for most people in real estate. And next year, he's going to be doubling that, I'm sure. So that's what this is. So this is available to you in our N.L.P. Road to Mastery program. And for those of us that have already taken the N.L.P. Practitioner program, this specifically, the 26-step breakthrough process, is available to you on the N.L.P. Master Practitioner program. So this is available to you in our N.L.P. Road to Mastery program. Now, N.L.P. Road to Mastery program really consists of 3 levels. Level 1 is the N.L.P. Practitioner. Level 2 is the N.L.P. Master Practitioner. And level 3 is the Speaker Presenter Training. So it's really 3 levels to do that. So here's my question for you, is if we were to upgrade the software of your mind, if we were to upgrade your body, make you, as they say, beast mode, make you this unstoppable force to be reckoned with in your business, right? If we were to able to do that, what would happen to your results? What would happen to your results if you literally had hardwired within you the blueprint of the Michael Jordan of your business? Well, obviously, if you have that blueprint, you would get the same results. Maybe you would learn and master language and sales and leadership skills with N.L.P. as well, but you certainly would produce an even much greater result, yes? So my question to you is, you would achieve this result, and my question to you is, how long would it take? You know, it's interesting because there's people who are struggling to make success theirs, and it's this thing that's so far out. It's 5 years, it's 10 years, 20 years. Maybe one day I'll be able to retire. Maybe one day I'll be able to be rich and wealthy. What I ask you is, how powerful would it be if we were to take the 20-year goal that you have and we were to collapse time? Not instead of 20 years, back it up to 10 years, back it up again to 5 years, back it up again to 1 year, and even back it up again to 6 months. What if you could achieve in 6 months what it would have taken you with all of this stuff, whatever that is, 20 years to do, and you could collapse 20 years and accomplish in just a matter of 6 months to 1 year what you would have in 20 years? Now, would that be powerful? That would be huge, yes. Awesome. Okay, so if you want some more information about this, feel free to go to the website, www.krsuccess.com. You can also call us and find out when the next event's coming up where you can do some of this work, and that next event will be given to you when you give us a call. And the number to reach us at toll free is 1-844-PURE-NLP, 1-844-PURE-NLP, which, by the way, is 1-844-787-3657, 1-844-787-3657. This was a very powerful talk. Thank you for your time. I know this blows your mind, and I know for some of us, you look at the year that's coming, you look at the next 12 months that's coming, and you want to do something different, right? If we do the same thing we've done in the last 12 months, and we do the same thing for the next 12 months, we're going to get the same result. In order for us to update our results, we've got to do something, because when you change, when I change, when we all change, we not only change our own results, we create the life that we want, the success we want, we actually have that ripple effect that changes the course of our history, changes the history of our whole family. Because I don't know about you, I've got 2 sons, I'm sure you may have kids, or maybe one day you're gonna have kids. You change the course of history of your family, generations to come. You end the old patterns of the old you, and you embrace the new you. When you change, when I change, we all change. We change the world. You have that much power. Thank you very much, my friends, and I look forward to seeing you soon, and we get to make those magnificent changes and really transform your life, our life, and have an even better life. And that's what you came here for. You came here to play out at your fullest, to have the best life that you knew you deserved to have. And I will see you soon.